Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast Life in Black and White.
Welcome, everyone.
We hope you have a lovely day so far, or you've had a lovely day, depending on what time you're listening. Yeah, I was just woken up. So, how are you feeling?
Happy and open and wide and not tired at all.
If you wonder why we're recording in the morning, because we usually do this in the evening, because our twins are in Slovakia with my mom, and we only have one child who is in the nursery now. So we actually had the chance and time to do this during the day. It's so cool, isn't it?
This is annual leave. Yay.
Maybe when we have a sponsor, no pressure there, then we can, pay someone to watch the kids while we record, even when the twins are here. So we don't have to rely on the evenings. So we can generate a better content, and bring more value to the people. So if you want to sponsor us, just feel free to reach out.
So we can get childminder. Okay, go on.
How sad is this? No.
Oh, it's cool. This is the natural transition of a podcast.
Yes, exactly. And then we can get a second mic, maybe.
We will get a second mic before our next.
We've been doing this for over a year, and where are we? Still at the kitchen table. It's just you hear all these.
That is actually podcast. A real podcast is kitchen, dining table and that type of thing.
What kind of videos are you watching? So I see all these stories where after 1 year we already have a studio and we earn £10,000 per month, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." So no pressure, but if you or anyone you know would like to support our amazing podcast, or a family, feel free. On that note, maybe it is not the best topic if you want to look for sponsors, is it? No, but today we have actually, it sounds like a deep topic, but it doesn't have to be. Depends on how we approach it. I don't know how I'll actually call the episode yet officially, but our work title is I used to be a racist and I'm not anymore, or why I'm not anymore. But we'll see how the chat goes. I might change the title if we divert. You never know. And we are speaking to an amazing lady and my friend from primary school, Natalia. Sounds sexy when I say it with this accent. And she very bravely offered to talk to us on this subject. It's something I can relate to myself. I'm very open about it. So it's a bit funny talking about us being racist or used to being racist while having a black guy sitting next to me. But let's see how
Even going as far as having a black guy being married.
Yeah. But that goes without saying, no? So it's quite funny. Anyway, so hi, Natalia.
Hi everyone, how are you?
You look gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
So I hinted what we're going to talk about, or hinted, I just said it. And I don't know where to start, to be honest with you, because we both know what we want to say. We both know what this is about. But where do we start? Yeah. What do we mean by I used to be racist? Yeah. Because to be honest, I'm not sure if this is something you can overcome fully. I said in one of the previous episodes that I am conscious of my own bias that I still have. And it's not a bad thing, because I think people sometimes are worried to admit they have bias or prejudice because they feel they would be bad people. But this is the result of our upbringing, no? Especially in our country, Slovakia, we have a thing about Romanians, and we were raised, so people around us would plant these little seeds, yeah, like, oh, wash your hands, yeah, when you got off the bus, wash your hands, because gypsies were, or Romanians were touching, the poles, or all these little, there are so many. If you can remember some, just feel free to share. But so of course, when you grow up with this thinking, then of course it impacts you, yeah, how can it not? So it's not our fault. And like I said, we had that with Romanians, but it does impact other races as well. Yeah. So even now, I'm aware that if I see a brown person, sometimes the thoughts that pop in my head, I'm like, oh my God. And I've had them my whole life. The problem was I wasn't aware of it. And I would even, what's the word? I mean, want to prove it to you. I'm just like, I'm going around, and I'm just proving to white people, you have bias. I often have discussions with my family, and it's a huge thing, because it took me years to understand that this is actually the case. But yeah, tell me your experience. Let's start with our upbringing, yeah, in Slovakia and all these Romanian things. So how do you remember it, you growing up?
Yeah, My story is nearly like yours, yeah. So when we were kids, exactly, Romanians are dirty. They smell. They have a sicknesses. They are disgusting. Um, they
Yeah,
just, they are not normal human beings. They are like something less. Yeah, it
like
was just,
insect, no? Some people would say
yeah,
insect, yeah.
it's like,
And
it's
you
just
need
the belief
yeah,
that it's actually written in your brain that they are just not the same as us.
yeah.
And yes, there are a few people, or few Romanians in Slovakia, they live that way. They live in a village with the rats and all of this, but it doesn't mean that they are not human. They're not
Mm,
people, you
mhm.
know. So yeah, my story is the same. And I didn't realize that maybe until last year, and I'm 41, that how much I was,
Bias?
yeah. And I was gonna say that how much I feed the hatred towards brown black people in my
Mhm,
heart. And
mhm.
it has changed a lot.
So what happened? When did you realize this?
I think it's last maybe couple of years because I am doing the psychophonetics counseling, and our teacher always teaching us look at everyone and look at your client through your heart. I started to realize last year, if I have client like that or client with this issue or this issue, doesn't matter, look at him through your heart. So a few months ago, and it's not just with the black people, it was also like different things. I realized that why can I not see them, differently? Why can I not look at them through different lens? So a few months ago, yeah, it was a big turning point for me, and I realized I don't want to be a racist anymore. It's not
Mm,
fair because
Mm.
they are the same people like we are, and it's just, yes, I
oh,
feel
wow.
like more freedom, and yeah,
Mm,
and I just feel that it's not fair for
mhm,
them
mm,
because many of us live like that.
Yeah. I think you mentioned, sorry, this whole topic that, we're talking about here, people can come and listen to this and they can turn around and pick at tiny little things and stuff here, there, and everywhere. But this is such a major topic to be able to kind of come onto here and be open. And, you know, you don't know the backlash and stuff that some of these things and stuff can kind of, but be open and courageous enough to turn around and say what you're saying. It's a really, really big thing to do. And it takes that courage. It really does take that courage
yeah.
to understand and say, look, I'm this. And we've all, absolutely every single one of us, have got something that we're biased about because it's just a natural thing that we would have had impressions on us as we've grown. If you're young, certain things that, and it could be tiny things that are said that, obviously turn around and affect our way of thinking to a certain extent. But over a period of time, like you're saying, it took something that was outside of your, and I'm not saying it has to be something outside of your normal kind of day to day, but something happened that affected you. And then you made a choice. You
Mm,
made a choice to turn around and think about it. People can still have the facts in front of them and still decide, you know what, it's easier for me to just carry on being the way that I am and just go on
mhm.
because life is easier that way. It takes a big thing to turn around and put the mirror up to yourself and look at yourself and turn around and say, look, yeah, this
Yeah,
isn't quite right. Let me look into that.
yeah. You can be very proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
And me, you can say
Anybody,
me.
everybody who takes that, yeah, everybody should kind of pat
Yeah.
themselves on the back and things and think, you know what, if I'm making conscious efforts to try and better myself in any way, not just on the racist side of things,
Yeah.
but in any way, you're taking positive steps and you think, you know what, I am trying. Why is that not a bad thing? Understanding where you are, where you may have been, is something, and you're moving forward. Who's anybody else to turn around and say you're this or that?
Mm,
You should be proud of yourselves. If you carry on, even more.
yeah. Oh, now I forgot what I wanted to say.
Did I talk for too
Too
long?
much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. It was
I
nice.
can
Go on. You go.
I can add on something that I'm just also see this situation as a mother that if my daughter would play with a black child, yeah, I don't think I would ever say that, don't play with him or her, but maybe there would be this idea like, what is the family and, where they
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is, of course, three of us or two, like Ivka and me and you, like it is brave to admit that because I can see some of the faces in my family, like, what is she talking about? And because people don't want to admit, people
Yeah.
Mm.
will be like, oh, that's not true. And they are dirty, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't have to be this way. So, yes. So me as a mother thinking, I don't think I would ever really judge, and I would never say my daughter, don't be a friend with a girl like that. But it's now. I don't know what my opinion would be 10 years ago, but it never happened. But it's still happening. And then I see how this hatred go through the parents, to the child. And
Yeah.
this is, and they don't see that it's just repeating the pattern. It's like with religion and everything. And it's just, we have so much hate in this world already. And the things happening with immigrants and everything, I think made it worse because I think it's like bringing more, we have to hate them because this is what they are doing. Like, I'm not saying what is right or wrong, but I see there is behind it something like, oh, we should just hate them more. And it's just, I think if everybody would change just a little bit of their opinion, it could be just different.
Yeah. It's a hard topic, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I wondered, you know what most people say in our country about Romanians, that it's not that we don't like them or hate them, it's their behavior. So they are stealing, they are killing, yeah. So it's our experience that created this hatred. It's not their color, the color of the skin, yeah. What do you think of that?
This again is a difficult way to go because I can't think that you can just start from your experience because if you're talking about, and I'm not right in how I'm doing this, I don't have a thing in, I don't know, psychology, or the point that I was trying to make was it's been happening, could have been happening for generations. So there's the socio-economic side of things where if you said at one point certain Romanians were given certain kind of bits of land or buildings or
Yeah.
certain things where they should have been able to have done something with it. But if you give something, it's like give a fish to someone, you feed them for a day, but then give them the
Mm.
tools and stuff and teach them how to fish, and you feed them for a lifetime. It's that same thing. If you turn around and act a certain way to people, and then afterwards you don't change, you've just given them something, they're still fighting against a whole societal kind of thing of people still viewing them and judging them in a certain way.
Yeah.
So anytime that they jump on a bus, or anytime that they go to school, or sometimes anytime that they try to do something to progress in a certain way, they go for a job, they go for this, they do that, and they're hitting brick walls, and you're hitting brick walls, brick walls, brick walls. And it's not to excuse when somebody does something wrong, but if you found that your kids are hungry and the only way to feed them was to do something not great, why wouldn't you do that? I'm not going to sit there while my kid's starving or whatever and
Mm.
things because somebody else has decided I can't have this. I can't have a bank account. I can't turn around and get the job that I was really, my mindset was I'm going to be different from others and I want to turn around and do this and be productive. And again, everything that we say here, it can't be a generalization because not
Yeah.
everybody is like this. But if you have those moments and those people understand that this is the kind of rejection that I'm going to get, I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that my family survive. And when you're talking about immigration there and stuff, Natalia, if my children and my family are in danger, why would I not want to be in a situation where they're safer? Even if you had the situation where you go somewhere where people seems like they hate you and things, I can deal with your words and stuff if I know with my family are gonna be, I'm not gonna be bombed, I'm not gonna be killed, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be, you know, absolute dire things that if you put yourself in the mind of the person or the family are there, what would you honestly look to do in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy for people to say, and I hate it. What do you think, Natalia? When people say, I hate immigrants because then there is, say in England, yeah, because then there is lots of foreigners, not enough English people anymore. how horrible is that, isn't it?
I would say one thing, blame the government, don't blame the people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, this is very brave statement, but I'm sorry,
yeah, yeah. They should
I
prepare for it more, or when you can expect when it's gonna happen, prepare for it rather than, than
Not everybody has the right reasons. You know, there's good and bad in anything and everything that we do. But you can't turn around and tell me that a family who's starving, who what they somehow get over, they get a chance, and they don't get over with they're paying people, right? They're probably somehow collating some sort of money or whatever to get over. These things aren't cheap. They're not like, you come you give me a pound or you give me a dollar or you give me a euro and I'll take you over. They're having to kind of put tens of thousands of pounds and stuff together to somehow get over to do what they need to do. And in most cases, you look at the UK, we're a multicultural society that have been built over so many centuries with immigrants. Who here is English?
yeah.
Realistically, you go back far enough, we've all come from somewhere. The English have gone everywhere. America isn't America. They're not natives. They've come from America. You go to Australia, they're not the natives of that land. They're English, and there are other countries and stuff that have gone. People have emigrated to other places and taken control. And you turn around and have this conversation that we don't want him. If you go back far enough and everybody was to suddenly go back to where they were, what would this place look like? Where would other places look like? You can't I hate this conversation. I hate it's an easy topic to kind of point at people coming in, taking our jobs, taking our women. It's such and it's been done so many times over and over.
Yeah.
Okay, you probably want to talk because otherwise I'll just get
But
heated.
can black people have bias as well?
Everybody has bias to a certain extent. Um, you'll have you may have in my country there's always been a thinking that if you if you get married, look to have somebody. So my heritage is Ghanaian. If I look to get married, should probably look for someone who has a similar culture, similar kind of background, because it means that the way that you is a kind of thing of it's likely that they might have similar kind of upbringing, and we were talking about how our parents kind of come in. I've clearly not that, I find someone who I care about and someone who I know cares about me is more than enough for my life, right? And clearly that's you if you just who wanted to
After 10 years, you still think this?
after yesterday we had a bit of a fight. So yes, I still do think that, but don't worry, maybe this bit will be edited out. No, it's everybody has a certain level of bias. My dad came over. Sorry if I kind of rattling on a little bit, but when my dad came from Ghana and we got like the Windrush, where a lot of Caribbeans, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, a lot of members came from their native language, you say native, but from their countries to here. And you tell me that if you come somewhere and you can see quite clearly in like say boarding rooms and things like this, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. How does that not affect you? How can you turn around and you've been fed stories of it's a promised land, it's this, it's that, and you can see quite openly such racist things. And I'm not saying it's exactly the same and stuff now. That's not what, but you can't have those kind of things impacting you and turn around and say that doesn't affect you in any way because you want your child to make sure that they don't go through anything similar to what you've been through. So you say to them, you know what? If you stay within your culture, you're probably not going to face as much kind of hatred or impact and stuff from other people because people still judge. You go certain places and me and you together, they see a black and white woman together, some people will judge and they may get to know us and think, you know what, actually, they're lovely. They're really nice people. That black guy is a really nice bloke and stuff. And I sound good because I talk the Queen's English to a certain extent. So I'm okay. Well, he's all right. He's fine. He's one of the good ones. there's a million of the good ones. You know, there's a million of us who have interracial marriages, partnerships, you know, relationships. We're good. We just need to kind of step outside of our own comfort zones and just have a little bit of a look. Go back to Natalia because talking way too much.
I would like to know, Natalia, what thoughts did you catch yourself thinking that took you by surprise? If you can think of
Yeah,
any.
I was thinking about that, the hatred every time we judge someone or we hate someone, it's always come back to us, yeah? And so it's like, yeah, I see it as damaging to each of us when we do it. It doesn't matter if it's black people, is it somebody with blue hair, doesn't matter. What I was thinking that I think black people already live with, I would say, with the fear and shame
Mhm.
and being judged. So I actually, it was maybe a month ago, I saw somebody a different color, yes, and my very first second idea was like, and then
Mhm.
I actually stopped myself and I was like, this person is probably being judged and maybe live in a fear and maybe walking between white people already feeling like he is or she is less. I was like, why would I do that? But it was 1 second and I stopped
Yeah,
and I just caught myself like I don't have to be part of this.
yeah,
And then also what came to my mind was how many people would judge people from Africa or whatever, but how many people go and say African people have amazing tribes and they have amazing culture and they are connected to the nature. Like choose your side then, because they are connected to this and oh, we should be like them and we should, you see the women naked breastfeeding and whatever. And many people would admire that. What, not many, but maybe like holistic way people would admire that. But at the same time, they think like, oh, I would never live there,
Mm,
you
mhm,
know.
yeah, yeah. It's,
so
what is the hypocrite?
hypocrites.
Hypo
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, I have a water here, okay?
It's alright, you can
It's all
drink,
right, it's
you're
all right.
allowed.
It's absolutely fine. All good.
I was just gonna say, like, I also admire Yao, like sitting here, and it must be so difficult to listen to this and be a part of this. Like you
Mhm.
had to overcome a lot of, I don't know, like I would say you have so much strength to sit here and talk about that also. It's not just us to deny it, but you being in the position we talk about, like
Yeah.
wow, like I admire you for this.
Mm, thank you
Oh,
so much. I'm not gonna lie, when Ivanka mentioned the topic, I was like, "Here we go." But I get it.
yeah.
I get these
It
conf
needs to be talked
yeah.
about. How do we change things if we don't talk about it?
And yeah, exactly. The openness, the courage. If one person turns around and says, "Okay, I kind of get it. I'll try and do something," that's amazing. That means, the butterfly
Yeah,
ripple effect has kind of kicked in.
yeah. I was gonna say that what I see very often is white people saying black people, and I was one of them, yeah. So no judgment there. That they are so sensitive and so what's the word? Paranoid, yeah. Because when I have a bad approach to them, or I just accidentally maybe say something, and they're immediately, "Oh, is that because I'm black?" Yeah, and you don't think about it as a white person unless you're in that world. That's like what? Like, of course not. Yeah. Someone said to me that when they were in the US, they didn't want to shake a black person's hand because their hand was dirty. I mean, the white person's hand was dirty. So they didn't want to make the black person, yeah. They worked in the kitchen, yeah. And when they refused to give him the hand, the black person right away said, "Oh, is that because I'm black?" Yeah. So, and they were like, "What? Like, you're so paranoid, you're sensitive." Yeah. But I understand that now. If you live with that your whole life, it's like us, for instance, sometimes we, as people like me and Natalia living in a foreign country, we sometimes feel that we're treated differently as foreigners. So it's the same thing. Or women, and their rights. Like you have all the rights to think sometimes you are paid less, maybe because you're a woman. Yeah. So I don't see how that is different in any way.
It's different forms, but I understand where you're coming from and
Yeah.
things. Yeah. If you're judged because of, I don't know, again, I'm not perfect in this.
Because
Uh,
you don't have these reactions, but I understand if people do.
yeah, absolutely. If you feel that you're getting a reaction because of a certain something, that happens again and again and again. It's not a Oh, what was that? I'm not quite sure. But when things start repeating themselves and you've had them, like you were mentioning there, Natalia, thank you, when you were saying about, the repetitiveness of certain things that I've experienced and stuff in my life or
Mm.
in our lives in certain way, they have an effect. They impact how you are, Yeah, it's it's a difficult one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wanna say one example. For instance, yeah, so people understand what I'm talking about maybe a bit more. We ordered, what was it? Chinese, I think, takeaway, and we were waiting, and then someone knocked on the door, yeah, and I opened half an hour later, and I thought, "Oh, that must be delivery." I opened the door, and there was a brown, maybe Pakistan woman, with the scarf on her head. Just I could just see the eyes, yeah, and some bag. I was like, "Oh my goodness, a beggar." That was my first thought. That's a beggar. Now she's gonna ask for money. That's gonna be awkward. Yeah. And then I was looking at her, waiting, and I said, "Can I help you?" And she says, "You ordered a delivery, right?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So these little things, yeah. And I realized, oh my god, didn't even occur to me this lady could actually be a delivery lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any example like that, Natalia?
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you, it happened to me last week because I am moving the house. So there is like on Facebook, there is a page you can give like whatever for free, yeah? And people would come and collect like really literally anything what you don't need.
Yeah.
I had there like few things, and it was actually this woman. It was black woman. She messaged me if she can collect the table, and I was like, of course. But the first second of like, are they gonna be okay? Blah blah blah. So she came. She parked in front of my house with her husband, and I just opened the door, and I was like, just come in because the table is really heavy, and they were really surprised. Like, we can come in, and I was like, of
Oh,
course. And then another thing, and I was really so emotional because they left their shoes in front of the house. People in
oh,
Ireland walk everywhere, yeah, or maybe in England, like they don't take the shoes off.
yeah.
They left the shoes in front of the house, and so a humble couple came and took the table and told me maybe 15 times, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was just looking and I said like, thank you so much also for taking it because I don't have to get rid of it. And then I said, also, thank you for taking your shoes off because this is what we do in Slovakia. And they were so lovely and kind people. So they left, and I was actually feeling like those people are so humble and lovely. And half an hour later, they sent me a picture from their living room that the table has a new home. And I was like,
Oh,
they
oh,
were so like kind, and it was really good experience for me to see that, the first reaction when I said like come inside the house, they were like, because maybe most of the people would say like there's your table, go away. And I was like,
yeah.
no, just come in. Like,
Yeah.
what's the problem? So it was really lovely for me to see that they were surprised and I was surprised at how it touched them, but they touched me also.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know what? I just realized if I had a black person message me on Facebook Marketplace, I would be a bit like as well, you know? And this is my point when
So I'm
people
not that
say,
bad. You are married, you married black man.
I know,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's why I'm saying this. You can like when people say I'm not racist because I have a friend who is black, makes my blood boil, yeah? Now, because I probably used to say the same thing. You can marry a black person, you can have black kids and still have that little racist in you. Yeah. It's very hard to say that, but it is what it is. Yeah. I know it's not my fault. I'm not doing that on purpose. It's wired in our brains, yeah, the way we were raised. When you hear something the whole childhood, you hear lots of hate about people. We didn't hear anything about black people in particular, but it does impact like you are brown, you are whatever, you are bad. Yeah, you are something we need to get rid of. Now, this is what people were saying. That we need to, where they live now, there should be a bomb. Yeah, there someone should, drop a bomb there and things like that. And as a child, when you hear this, what beliefs will you have?
I don't know what to say. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's the same pattern. If you would hear from your mom, you
Mhm.
are not handy, you are ugly, everything you touched, you drop off, blah blah blah. It's the same belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. You have to, I think, become an adult and take responsibility in your own mind and subconscious to if you want to change it,
Yeah.
it's like really with everything what is written from the childhood. It's like you said, I don't say that I never ever will judge, or maybe there won't be this second of, oh, they are different, they are dirty, they are coming from blah blah blah, but it's just catch it and go through this and realize like why I don't want to do it anymore, because they might not even know it, but it's not healthy for my internal, for for my soul.
Yeah.
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 So it's
That's
like,
that's
yeah.
that's what we need to do if we want to change things. Stop denying them and just admit, okay, I have bias. I have a little racist in me or whatever. That's what brings the change, not by putting our heads in the sand. What do you think? Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I already, my thinking is, I think I mentioned it before, is people can come onto this or listen to this and have quick judgments. And if you do that, then you really need to put the mirror up to yourself, because the quick judgments don't help you, don't help society, don't help anybody. What you need to kind of do is turn around and think, what do I have that I can work on? And that's it. We all have something, not just turn around and go, da da da. You pick, you can pick through things and go, they said this or they did that, or their stance was this or whatever,
But
and
so did you,
things.
I would say. We all do.
Exactly. But the challenge is, what can we do in each of us to move forward in a
Yeah.
positive way?
Yes.
That's no, I love. It's really hard to listen to some of the things that have been said, but it's very empowering to hear some of the things that are being said, because people will not have these conversations,
Yeah.
and it's just good to, yeah, it's just positive. It really is. I like this.
Do you still love me?
Yeah, we're all right.
All right.
No, of
We're
course
still
not.
friends.
Yeah. No, of course not.
Talking about this, like, since actually, even if I didn't realize I've been a racist, but there was always one thing what was I was always like jealous of, or every time I saw like a mixed, black and white child, mixed
Yeah.
race girl with a beautiful curly hair, and I always like, I would love to have a girl like that. But then there was a part of me, I don't wouldn't want a man like that. But now maybe I would actually. This is not like dating app at the actually, but
We are such
yes, but
hypocrites, all of us, no? In some way.
what? Sorry.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, yeah, I love this
To talk.
conversation. Yeah.
To talk, to be open. It really is the only way that we have a real chance of making a real change and stuff in life.
Yeah. There was just one more thing I wanted to touch on is racist jokes. Okay.
You want me out of this one?
No, 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 no Slovakian jokes,
No.
racist jokes in
Yeah.
particular. So, an example from our relationship. Yeah. So, I don't know why I thought it was a great idea to tell you some of the racist jokes when we started dating. Yeah. Yes, I used to say racist jokes. I'm not proud of it, but yeah. Anyway.
I don't know
So,
any of racist joke. I don't know any.
really, you
You
can
don't
be
know them
honest.
from Slovakia.
Do you feel like you're on the
Whoops.
spotlight now? Do you?
No, but I can edit this out, so it's all good. So I was telling you something, and to me it was completely harmless, a joke. Yeah, I don't want to say towards what religion in particular this one was. You told me like, but don't say this out loud in front of people. Yeah, and I was like, why? Like it's harmless. I don't mean it. I don't hate these people. It's just a joke. But now I understand. It took me years again, thanks to you, Daddy,
Okay.
that it's not harmless at all, because yeah, it's not harmless because when someone hears it or when you say it over and over, it does impact the way you see the world and how you react to certain things. It's like I say, subconscious doesn't have a sense of humor, right? So even if you mean it as a joke, it does leave a mark or imprint on your subconscious in one way or another. Yeah, and they think, oh, it's just a joke, it's harmless, I'm not racist. Yeah, but
Ask them to tell me the joke. Let's enjoy this joke together.
and they, you know what, how many would tell you, oh, don't be so sensitive, it's just a joke.
Then
So
I quite easily unpack that.
unpack it now.
There is, because if you're talking about comedians, go for shock value, right? Comedians are there to, like, it's normally a twist on something that shouldn't be funny, but you see and you think, "Oh, I get it," and then yeah, but yeah, I
It's different.
yeah,
Why is it different? No,
it's
I'm
different,
interested right now. I'm not being funny.
and it really depends on the person telling the joke, the person, um, the joke is about.
And if you are black, you can say black jokes. That's another thing as well. Or Indian, you can say Indian jokes. If you're Slovakian, we can make fun of our accent, for instance. But if I tell you or someone a black joke, is that the right word? Like racist, yeah, when I'm not black, that's not right. Is that right?
I hope it's not right. It's like I said, it's a really difficult because there's a guy called, I think, is it Gary Oldman? I'll try and get the name and stuff right. And he's this white comedian, but he's predominantly tells jokes about black people and black culture because he's married. He was married to a black woman, has black children, mixed race children, but he has grown up with, quite predominantly within a black culture. And if he turns around and says a joke about certain black areas and certain black mannerisms, certain mannerisms and certain things that happen, if anybody else turned around and said this joke, there would be a complete uproar for who he is and the journey he's been on. You can see that he has a real absolute respect for the black culture and things. It comes from a place of
Understanding.
love,
Oh,
an absolute love and stuff, because you can see that he connects with the black culture in such a way that when he's turning around and saying these things, you see it and you're like, it is quite funny, and
mm.
but there's a guy called, Roy Chubby Brown or something, and I hate this guy. I can't stand, I think anything that he turns around and says is quite repulsive, and I can quite happily turn around and say, I can't stand this comedian, and he's from an
His
era,
content or
his content, he might be a really cool guy. I say that with a little bit of derision and stuff in my voice, but he absolutely could be, right? And he comes from an era where it was acceptable to say the jokes and things that he says, and it was seen as funny, and it was openly seen as funny. And there's people that I know that still find his stuff funny. They will look back and think, you know what, that's actually quite a good one. I listen to it, and I'm just like,
we like Kevin Hart.
yeah, but Kevin will turn around and say things that are so out. One a comedian who they turn around and call the goat and stuff, Dave Chappelle. He absolutely pushes the boundaries of everything, everything, like any topic, and he'll twist it in a certain way. Some bits are so hilarious. Some bits you turn around and you think, "Oh my god, I can't believe you turn around and said what you've just said." But there's an audience, and
Yeah.
he's so famous. People see him as, one of the greatest comedians and stuff out there of our age and things. But I turn around and say, I find his work quite funny. Some bits I shy away from and think, you can't say. And people obviously do the same thing for Roy Chubby Brown, who again I will quite happily say I do not like, but there's a market for it.
Mm.
That's what I mean. It's so much in there. You so
Yeah, yeah,
much you
yeah. Okay.
um,
It's another topic, yeah. Just one.
exactly. It's
But
huge.
Natalia, tell us, you and it doesn't have to be racist jokes, but like towards certain maybe religion, skin color, or what's culture.
Yeah,
Do you used to say this, or did you used to say, or listen to them?
all I know is like always towards blonde color woman. Yeah, blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, blonde color hair. What I am thinking about the jokes, I think my opinion about the jokes little bit has changed over the years because I realized a couple of years ago that there is usually we meet in the circle of the friends or partner or boyfriend or family, a person who always makes a joke of someone or something. And I realized last year that that person usually has a very low confidence and he
Yeah.
needs to belittle someone else. Yeah, if
So
it's too
true.
much. So that's why I am not into the jokes anymore. I think I'm very like my friends love me because I'm funny and I think I'm funny. I am. I have to, but I don't have to always belittle someone. Like it's like a joke like women can drive and all this stupid because
Yeah.
men think they are better driver. So I love jokes and I am always having the jokes with my friends and they have like double meanings and everything like yes, but I don't have to always it fe- for me it's like I am attacking someone.
Mm.
Because I used to be with the partner and he always was making the jokes out of me. And I thought it was funny and I was like in the center of attention. But look at that now. He was only belittling me for his own problem. And
Mhm.
I would never maybe allow that again, you know, and it was just all because you are immigrant here. It was kind of the same. Your English is not the best, blah, blah, blah. And it stayed in my head. And now when I'm sometimes on social media,
Yeah.
it's coming back to me like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it because my English is not the best, you know. So yeah, that's why I am very careful with the jokes. I love jokes, but they must have a little bit kind of um I wouldn't say
Intelligent.
moral. Yeah, just have a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna add that I remember years ago when my ex-partner told me you are racist. And I knew deep down I was. And it
Mm.
made me feel angry. And I was like, I'm not. And this is how we grew up in Slovakia. And he was like, you Slovakian are racist. But he was right. But I was angry when he said that because didn't want to admit. But if somebody would tell me now, I would say, well, I am because blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And it's changed everything. It's like the same if you say to someone that somebody knows some truth about themselves deep down and they know they should maybe change it or maybe they are not happy with it, they are angry. But
Mm.
once you admit something, is like, oh fuck, yes, I was, and I'm sorry, and I'm trying to change it. I'm really trying to change it, and every day, like I was at work yesterday, and there was again black people, and I was walking, and I actually like kind of moved, but I wasn't in a great mood or something. And then I was again like, why am I moving? They're not gonna give me a disease, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not just about to admit. It's
Mhm.
just I think it's take the responsibility and step every day, like with every decision in the life, and just we can change it. We have to start here. And
Yeah.
every time if I connect with my heart and myself,
Mhm.
I know this is not who I am. This is the voice I was listening to all my
Yeah.
life.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And lots of people justify their bias by saying it's about how the people behave. It's not about the skin color, but it's all connected. No, it's not just, it is at the end of the day, whether you admit it or not, whether directly or indirectly. It's just don't be afraid to admit you have. I just made a huge confession here. So
So we both did.
and
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm a bad person or you, no, Natalia, because like we said, it's not our fault, but we can take responsibility. So I think that's a perfect way to end this episode.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I've been to Slovakia, what, 4, 5, 6 times, something like that.
Yeah.
I've been there quite a few times, and I wouldn't say I went to Slovakia for the first time, and I had the bias that, no, they're gonna see a black person kind of come in, and it's gonna be like, if not directly, direct indirectly, the little, "Oh my god," the speaking behind the hands and things like this. You know what? I haven't actually had that.
We have curiosity, but that's fine. Curious looks, that's absolutely normal. Nothing bad.
Yeah, and see, I went with a bias. I went with a bias thinking it would be this way, and I needed to be ready for this or this. In my mind, I was gearing myself up for this, and that's never actually ever materialized. So,
Yeah.
we all have our biases. We can't help it. There are things that happen and affect our lives, and they will naturally have an impact and will naturally cause a certain reaction. But you've hit the head. You can have those moments, but just challenge yourselves. Think from the heart. Think from the heart. Put yourself in that situation. I'm only repeating what Natalia's just
Yeah,
said
but
like a
it's
few
it's such a good
times.
statement.
Exactly. So, Natalia, absolutely, again, pat yourself on the back. I don't need, it doesn't need me to kind of turn around and justify what you said, but I've just heard it and it really rings true that we all need to take a step and take a moment from our hearts and think, if I was in that role reversal, where would I be?
Yeah. What a way to start the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have such a nice conversation.
Can I go and have lunch now?
There is last one topic I was no last topic, just the last one thing I was gonna say. I also think that's very degrading for a black man. You know the sexual joke is going around. about black men.
Oh, you mean
I
the
think
size?
yeah, once you
Okay.
go black, yeah, you
Yeah.
never go
You never
back.
go back.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, but I think like people think it's funny,
Yeah.
but it's degrading the honor and the sexuality of black men because it's like we don't see them again through heart and the men. Do we just see like some kind
Yeah.
of need? You know,
Yeah.
like it was funny years ago, but now I think it's disgusting.
Like one of my friend advised, when someone asks you that, tell them, "Did you see me walking funny?"
Oh my God. You know, it's funny, I think, until a certain moment, if people were talking about me, how this is gonna bring and
What do you
to
start
fight.
believing, yeah, about yourself, and this is all they see. Is like people, many people see like black person, oh, sport, he must do sports, no, he must be a runner, he must be whatever, yeah. But it's nothing wrong with that. It's just you put labels on white people a
Mm.
certain way, I'm sure as well.
Can I, just before we go, can I just turn around and say there's still a lot of love for Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and other comedians. And if you need a second to kind of think with your heart and take a moment before you say some of the jokes, contact us. And Roy Chubby Brown, I'm here for you whenever you need a hand or need help with,
Of humor.
yeah, with moving things forward. Thank you.
Don't say sorry. That was
No,
brilliant.
thank you.
It was from your heart, yeah, I know that. So here we go, you're practicing already.
If we all connected to our hearts, what kind of crap would we come up with sometimes? No,
Oh,
just
it's the best time to finish.
connect with your heart, but not too much.
Take your mind with you.
So thank you, Natalia. This was wow,
Yeah.
amazing, as you always say. But it was. And if you enjoyed this episode, dear listener, please leave us a review, share the episode far and wide, because I believe this one especially deserves acknowledgement and sharing. Much love to you, and see you in 2 weeks.
See you later.